Okay, so let's talk about starting an AI project because it can feel, well, pretty overwhelming. So let's make it simple. I want you to think of your AI model as a student. And your job? Your job is to get that student ready for a big final exam.
Welcome to AI for Everyone. Like, subscribe, and start learning today.
Ah, this phrase. Almost every single AI team has heard this at some point. And it sounds so simple, doesn't it? Just make the AI do its thing without any mistakes. But let me tell you, that one little instruction is very often the first step onto a project that never, ever ends. So what's the big deal? Why is this seemingly simple request so dangerous? Why does aiming for perfect almost guarantee you're going to have a bad time in the world of AI? Well, let's dive in. It all starts here. Asking for a perfect is like telling your student to just be smart. What does that even mean, right? A vague goal like that gives the team no clear target. They could work for months making these tiny little improvements, but they'll never really know when they've actually succeeded because perfect is always just a little bit further down the road. And here's the fundamental reason why this is a problem. You see, AI isn't like a calculator where 2 plus 2 always equals 4. It's built on statistics. It looks at mountains of data and makes a highly educated guess. It operates in a world of maybes and most likelies, not a world of absolute certainties. So, if we can't ask for perfection, what should we be asking for? Well, we need to shift our thinking. We have to go from this vague idea to a really clear, measurable contract. We need to define exactly what a passing grade looks like for our AI student. Now, the technical term for this is acceptance criteria, and honestly, it's the most crucial part of this whole process. It's a formal agreement on the specific statistical goal the AI has to hit. It's not a feeling, it's a number. This is the contract that tells everybody, hey, if we hit this number, the project is a success. So instead of make it perfect, you get this, 95% accuracy. This number is the real game changer. It's clear, it's measurable, and it gives the team an actual finish line to run towards. And this side really says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got this vague goal that just leads to endless frustration. And on the right, you have a statistical target that's clear, it's actionable, and it truly defines what success looks like. You've just turned an art project into an engineering project. Okay, so we have our passing grade, 95%. Awesome. But how do we fairly test our AI student to see if they've actually earned it? This is where we have to be really careful about how our AI studies. We can't let it cheat. To do this, we split all of our data into two completely separate buckets. The first is the training set, and you can think of that as the student's textbook and all their homework assignments. The second bucket is the test set, and that is the secret final exam paper kept under lock and key. Let's look a little closer at this because it's super important. The training set is the homework. The AI pores over thousands, maybe millions of examples to find all the hidden patterns. But the test set, oh, that is kept completely secret. The AI never sees this data while it's learning. We only use it once, right at the very end, to test it on information it has never, ever seen before. And this is why that separation is so absolutely critical. I mean, if the AI gets to see the test questions while it's studying, it's not actually learning, it's just memorizing the answers. In the AI world, this is called overfitting. And by keeping that test set a secret, we make sure we're getting a true measure of its intelligence, not just its memory. But here's the thing. Even with a great student and a totally fair exam, you should never, ever expect a perfect score. And this brings us to a really crucial reality check about AI performance, the myth of 100%. So why do even great models make mistakes? Well, sure, the technology has its limits. Sometimes there just isn't enough data to learn from, not enough pages in the textbook. But two of the most fascinating reasons are something called mislabeled data and ambiguous data. So let's talk about mislabeled data. Imagine you're training an AI to spot defective coffee mugs on a production line. A human worker, maybe they're having a long day, accidentally labels a perfectly good mug as defective. Now the AI studies this, and it just gets confused. It's trying to learn from an answer key that has mistakes in it. How can we expect the student to get a perfect score if the teacher sometimes grades things wrong? And then there's ambiguous data. What if a mug has a tiny, almost microscopic scratch? Is that a defect or is it just a piece of dust? Two human experts could look at that same mug and completely disagree. So if the humans can't even agree on the right answer, it is literally impossible for the AI to be 100% correct. The exam question itself is just too confusing. So let's pull all this together with a quick data dictionary. Your acceptance criteria, that's your passing grade. The training set, that's the textbook and homework. The test set, that's the final exam paper. And mislabeled data, well, that's just the teacher's answer key being wrong. Framing it this way really makes the whole process make a lot more sense. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Getting your AI to that 95% goal is a huge success. You should celebrate that. But the real magic, the real insight, is often hiding in that other 5%. Those failures aren't just errors, they're clues. They reveal the weird, ambiguous cases, maybe flaws in your data, or even the absolute limits of what's possible. So the final question is, what is that 5% trying to teach you?